Hello, so welcome in this Q&A video dedicated to the themes of negotiating quality in software projects. So it's an output from a roundtable we did in July with 4 people. There is also a full article available and summary article available on the website. And today we'll share around this theme to give you the practical action on how to negotiate quality. So starting by what we usually heard in the world of software is this traditional quote of it will be all better if we had 30% of the budget of the project allocated to quality. Everything will be wonderful, much more better. And we don't have even to say to do what, etc. It will be better. So this type of approach clearly does not work. It's just pure up. And this is what we shared during the roundtable. So the question we had to answer was how can we make and influence an organization to allocate directly or indirectly work continuous time to the quality activities. So and to answer this question, so we will apply the quality engineering framework MAMOS. So and we will go through the 6 steps. So the first point is to start with why. And we'll answer 2 questions. Why you have to negotiate in the first place? And why we have to negotiate specifically a quality budget. Then we'll see how to prepare a negotiation. So we'll start with preparation and execution of a specific workshop around the stakeholders. Then we'll start to move in the implementation, looking at the measure to use in the implementation of quality, what to do with the negotiation scene closed, and also the negotiation mistakes to avoid in your journey. So let's get started, and let's start with why. On the why negotiating, but it's a simple answer is that we cannot do everything, even if we wish to. So there will be some stakeholder and C-levels that are used to say, do it all, I don't care, or sort it out. The reality is that it's not really possible. There is always trade-off for various reasons that we explain here. So the first point is that we always have more things to do than the time and resources available. And the intimate reason for that is that specific resources are ultimately incompressible. So even if you say, I can buy time by outsourcing specific activities, you always reach a point where you cannot parallelize at the infinite. So this is why priorities are very important, and this is a responsibility, in fact, of management to orient the actor on the most valuable activities. This is what we find in the world of strategy and focus, and it means that organizations that are able to have a strong focus usually achieve much more valuable results because they have much more, they achieve more rather than being only busy. The second question we had to address was why in fact have to negotiate a budget for quality. If we want to deliver a quality product, we need to affect a budget for quality. But the thing is that by default, the actor, this will not happen. For another specific reason is that all the actors are focused on their own interest at first, and there is no global view and alignment of the quality attributes. So we did here in the article a detail of the 5 why behind this point. But globally, the root cause is that we usually lack an alignment of the actors to align what means quality, what are the quality attributes in detail, which level are for us acceptable, and then translate how and what we should do to effectively reach the point of quality all the actors have agreed. So it means that we should dedicate time to align the actor in the first place, to then directly or indirectly have quality activities in place on a continuous basis for delivering software. So how to prepare the negotiation? Firstly, it's very important to prepare, else you are quite surely doomed to failure. And the good principle here to apply is to start with the end in mind, and it will help you to clarify where do you want to go with your stakeholder. So at that effect, there is 2 specific activities and deliverables you can prepare, which is BATNA and ZUPA that you can see in the below scheme. And there is a various added value to do this exercise. Firstly, is that it will help you define what is your positioning, what do you accept and what do you want in terms of quality in the product. But it will help you also be in the mind and in the head of each stakeholder and create more empathy and be in their head and trying to say, okay, what would be the quality attributes from their perspective, what would be their range of acceptance. So this is very important because like that, you will start to have a better vision of the overall perspective and the ecosystem. You will start to be able to drill down much better on ZUPA and where you can negotiate something acceptable for the various stakeholders, something we'll see later that you need to be able to formalize. So when you start the negotiation and when you will start, all the actors will be like this picture. So you will have a variety of stakeholders focused on their own interest or the interest of their group they are used to interact with. The thing you need to do to negotiate quality in your project is to involve all the specific stakeholders impacted more or less by the initiative. And I say more or less because in fact sometimes someone not really impacted by your initiative or indirectly can be in fact very useful and powerful in the organization to help you have a legitimacy, power, and budget, etc. associated to your quality initiative. So at the starting point, every actor will be like that. Your goal at the end is to have all the actors oriented on a common mission and vision around the product you need to build, and with which quality attributes. So to prepare the workshop, there is specific steps to follow. The first one is to select the item you want to discuss in the meeting, because you know there will be some topics that are easier to start with. These are the ones to start, because like that you can quickly reach agreement and it's the effect of team building and people start to have much more trust between each other. And then you need to increase the difficulty of the topic to start having a bit more conflictual, but positive conflict you need to address because people natively will have different perspectives and it's important to align them together. The second point is to do your stakeholder mapping. To thinking broadly, you have to map the entire stakeholder. So, and here you should not limit to the people you know in your organization. So you should think about C-level, CEO if possible in your initiative and in your workshop, but also think about people that are not necessarily a director with specific title. You have people with a lot of knowledge, expertise, or influential power that you can use as very important people in your meetings and alignment of quality. And an example is people, for example, at the customer support. They are usually they have a good knowledge of the user perspective of the product and what does mean quality from user perspective at the end of the day. Once you have done that, you can move to the organization of the collaborative session. So usually you need to make people practice and use some design thinking elements. So you can do exercise like a round table, so to have all people sharing their expectation around quality attributes. And you can also combine various typology of meetings like interview, in one-to-one, in groups. You can use reformulation in written and oral part. And you can also do group sharing where everyone shares their perspective. It's quite useful to align a common vision between all the different actors. The next question when we move to implementation is to look at how we should drive the action of the actors. The answer is that you should drive the action based on the major gap of value to cover and on the most valuable activities. And value should have been defined from your previous exercise in terms of quality, user perspective, but also the other stakeholder perspective. So for example, the one of the business, of IT, customer support, etc. And this is why your previous exercise of alignment is very useful at that effect, is that you are able to align people on a shared mission of value creation, and you are able then to drill down and define specific indicators that are in effect supporting the creation of value of your team, that enable you to continue, reinforce or stop specific action based on the effective result and the impact you are creating at the end of the day with your team. And lastly, we shared some points around negotiation. So what to do, for example, when a negotiation seems closed, so you are unable to have people available for meeting, people don't seem to get it, you don't feel a lot of openness around the themes of quality attributes, etc. So first question you have to make yourself is it the right time? And this is what we find in the player path concept, is that you should really reflect, is it the reasonable time and moment to address this topic? Sometimes it could be a mix of culture, stakeholders that are there, and the already ongoing project. There is quite very few, too low chances of your quality initiative to succeed. So it's better to pass. And when I say pass, it's not just wait for another day. It's really to prepare better and define what you can do to then be more prepared the day you have the day you can play again. So when you decided to play, you have to do like a bit like murders in the TV series. You have to create or identify and share a problem and opportunity. This is what will drive people to action. So first, you have to clarify the problem. So to do that, you need to use again all the map of stakeholder you have identified in the previous exercise. You can also use a specific benchmark, alarming trends and forecasts, etc. to say, for example, other competitors are 10 times better at us at this level, their margins, their profit, their user engagement, their NPS, their satisfaction, or their user base growth, for example. You can use a lot of metrics like that. And you can also carefully use some type of future and forecasting. And you need to be careful because it's hard to predict the future here. So be really careful on what you share around forecast. And one example that Zoe TV shared with us during the roundtable was to use gamification techniques. And one of these techniques is known as the code health for the CEO. And it consists of making live the L and how hard it is for a programmer to try to change an application that have no automated test, for example, and a low quality. And it's an application with already a specific level of complexity. And after that, normally, the stakeholders that have done this exercise is much more sensibilized to quality and much more open to start considering affecting a series of activity and budget to quality tasks. The second point is the one of identifying and sharing an opportunity. And the opportunity, you should clarify what stakeholder will win and gain from this action. So it's what is inside the what's in it for me that you should be able to answer for the stakeholder you want to convince. You need also to have a very clear, compelling, and actionable call to action, and it should talk to your stakeholder. You should not limit yourself to have a technical call to action. You need to have something that will talk in the vocabulary of the people you are talking with, and so you may need different call to action depending on the stakeholder you want to interact with. So to support this initiative, what you can do is a pitch deck inspired by the one done by the startup is to do a few slides starting by the conclusion of what are you asking for to improve from a business or user perspective, and then what and how do you propose to achieve that goal. And then at the end, a very clear call to action repeated to say, okay, to achieve that, I need that you decide that, you unlock this type of budget, you communicate that way. So it should be quite actionable in terms of what you're expecting for the stakeholder, and it should be quite crystal clear what he can get from him and for the organization as a result of taking this type of action. And negotiation mistake to avoid, I thought it was well resumed with this type of quote that you can find also in the article. If I told you, the government, for example, tell you that they will increase the taxes by 30% to increase the quality of the country, you will surely not accept by default. And if we go back to the first quote of this video, you start to understand why it's not possible to come in project to say you should put 30% of your time to quality activities without aligning what does mean qualities for the stakeholder, how it will translate in terms of value, what is expected, etc. And you start to get so why it's important to involve the stakeholder and do all this exercise of involvement. You are in fact investing time for mid-term to long-term sustainable quality and product development rather than trying to go short-term, doing one-by-one quality initiatives that will just die after because you don't have the necessary support. So very important to follow the step of preparation and don't rush in the negotiation. It's only structured preparation and effective communication that will be able to influence clearly your stakeholder. So, and to manage to this type of argumentation, so it's not something that you do easily. You have consultants that are paid a lot to create and craft some presentation to influence and convince a stakeholder. So you can find on this scheme the three key ingredient of quality argumentation. So when you have the cogency, effectiveness, and reasonableness that are very important criteria to consider, and then there are also sub-criteria you have to consider while you prepare your argumentation. So and this is why you need preparation and a lot of empathy between the various stakeholders to be able to convince them broadly and effectively. So the summary negotiation is about two key prisms you need to have. The first one is an understanding of the situation to pose the right diagnosis, and you need to really understand the perspective of the user and the various stakeholders before trying to push for a solution on your own. It's better if the solution are coming from collaborative exercise. At that effect, problem framing and problem statement are quite useful, for example, in preparation of the collaborative workshop you want to organize. The question you should also be able to answer in your diagnosis is what would happen if we do nothing, and if we do nothing from what I am proposing in terms of quality initiative. The second pillar is the one of having a focused strategy. So the strategy is about leveraging key sources of power, and you should be clear on which strengths you can leverage from you, from your team, from your organization within the global ecosystem to make the difference. You should have very few priorities, at least in parallel, to have maximum impact and really deep action and priorities between the different actors of the system. So this is what is key about strategy, so source of power and few core strategies and focus. So thanks for your time for watching this video around negotiating quality. So you have the article also available on the website. The roundtable is also available on the French community. And I hope to see you in the next video. Thanks for your time. Bye bye.